Theories that her sister Annie Guthrie, brother-in-law Tommaso Cioni, or brother Cameron Guthrie had been involved.
82 days of silence. 82 days of calculated lies. But tonight, the search for Nancy Guthrie has hit a chilling finish line. Forget the ransom notes scrawled in desperation. Forget the false leads leading into the heart of Mexico. The truth wasn't across the border. It was buried in the fibers of a bedroom rug, right under the noses of the investigators. One single hair, a rootless, microscopic strand that traditional forensic scientists said was impossible to test. They called it a dead end. But a secret lab, the same elite facility that trapped the infamous Gilgo Beach serial killer, has just cracked the code. The DNA match is in. The killer is no longer a ghost haunting the Arizona desert. He is a person of interest who walked these halls. He is someone Nancy knew, someone who had access when the doors were locked. And tonight, we finally pull back the curtain to reveal the face behind the nightmare. The handcuffs are being polished, the case is closing, and the truth is more terrifying than we ever dared to imagine. We start exactly where the nightmare began. Nancy Guthrie's bedroom. On the surface, it was a picture of peace. Hardwood floors polished to a shine, a neatly made bed, a stack of books resting on the nightstand. To the Pima County Sheriff's deputies, it looked like a struggle-free zone. But in the world of high-stakes forensics, silence is often the loudest scream. While the local authorities were bogged down in a circus of internal drama and perjury claims against Sheriff Nanos, the FBI and federal specialists were playing a different game. They knew that traditional swabbing, using a Q-tip to wipe a surface, only catches a fraction of the evidence. They brought in the big gun, the M-VAC. Imagine a specialized forensic wet vac. It sprays a sterile, pressurized mist onto porous surfaces like carpets, curtains, and bedspreads. It loosens DNA trapped deep within the fibers, cells that have been there for weeks, and suctions them back into a high-tech filter. It was during this deep dive into the microscopic world of Nancy's bedroom that they found it. A single hair, no root, no visible tissue, just a tiny sliver of protein. For decades, this would have been the end of the road. In traditional labs, if a hair doesn't have a root, you can only test for mitochondrial DNA. This only tells you the maternal line. It can't tell the difference between a brother, a sister, or a cousin. It's not enough for a jury. It's not enough for a conviction. But the FBI didn't go to a standard lab. They bypassed the red tape and headed straight to Santa Cruz, to a place called Astria Forensics. This is the secret lab that criminals fear most. Founded by the legendary Dr. Ed Green, Astria Forensics specializes in the impossible. They developed a technique called SNP, single nucleotide polymorphism, sequencing. They take a rootless hair, something previously considered forensic trash, and they chemically dissolve it to extract the tiny, fragmented bits of nuclear DNA trapped inside the hair shaft. They don't just find a match, they build a digital map of a killer's soul. This is the same lab that looked at the rootless hairs found on the burlap sacks of the Gilgo Beach victims and pointed the finger directly at Rex Heuermann. They are the same experts who solved the decades-old cold case of Annie Pham. Why is this a chilling turning point for the Guthrie case? Because the word leaking from the investigation is that the lab hasn't just found a match, they've found the match. And the DNA doesn't belong to a drifter. It doesn't belong to a Mexican cartel member. It matches the profile of someone within the inner circle. Someone who had the keys. Someone who knew the layout of the house. The stranger danger theory is dead. The intimate betrayal theory has just taken center stage. This brings us to the question that has set the internet on fire. Who left that hair? If the DNA match is 100%, we have to look at the people who were there. Tommaso, the husband of Nancy's daughter, Annie Guthrie. In every high-profile disappearance, investigators look at the first responders in the family. Tommaso's movements on the night of the disappearance have been a subject of intense scrutiny. The internet sleuths have pointed out inconsistencies in the timeline. If that hair belongs to Tommaso, the entire Mexico kidnapping narrative is exposed as a fraud. It would mean the ransom notes were a staged distraction, a theatrical performance designed to lead police away from the home. If the M-VAC pulled Tomaso's DNA from a high-contact area in a room he shouldn't have been in, his defense will crumble like sand. But there is another possibility that investigators are whispers about in the halls of justice. Nancy's own son, Nancy Grace herself, has commented on the toxic and narcissistic atmosphere surrounding the leadership of this case. Could that narcissism be a family trait? In the world of criminal profiling, we look at the heirs. We look at the financial and emotional dynamics. If the hair found is a head hair, thick and rich in DNA, and it matches the male lineage of the Guthrie family, the son finds himself under a forensic microscope. Did he use his knowledge of the family's public profile to vanish his own mother? Was the Mexico lead his way of buying time to dispose of evidence? The DNA from Astria Forensics is currently being compared against the male family members, and the results are expected to be the final nail in the coffin. While the lab was quietly processing that single hair, the world was being fed a diet of sensationalism. Ransom notes began appearing like clockwork. "I saw her alive in Sonora, Mexico," one note claimed. Sonora, a brutal, sun-scorched landscape where the cartels hold more power than the government. Security expert Brian Fitzgibbons warned us, searching Sonora is a fool's errand. The desert is too vast, and the local police are often in the pockets of the kidnappers. But was Nancy ever actually there? Evidence now suggests these notes were a red herring, a classic investigative decoy. They were designed to send the FBI screaming toward the border, while the killer was right here in Arizona, calmly watching the news. And let's talk about the man who was supposed to be leading the charge, Sheriff Nanos. While a mother was missing, Nanos was fighting for his own professional life. Accused of perjury, accused of lying about a history of 26 internal allegations and 8 suspensions. When Nanos gave his infamous nope answers to the press, was he being a tough investigator? Or was he a man so paralyzed by his own scandals that he allowed a killer to walk free for 82 days? The distractors are fading, and the focus is back where it belongs, on the evidence. As Mother's Day approaches, the irony is heartbreaking. For Savannah Guthrie and her family, this isn't a day of celebration. It's a day of pure, unadulterated hell. But the limbo is finally ending. The silence is being broken by the hum of the sequences at Astria Forensics. The SNP profile is complete. It has been cross-referenced with every person of interest, every family member, and every suspicious individual detained south of Tucson. We are told the case is near to close. In the language of law enforcement, that means the probable cause affidavit is being written. It means the handcuffs are being taken out of the holster. The one hair has spoken. It tells a story of a struggle in a bedroom where no struggle was supposed to have happened. It tells a story of a betrayal that cuts deeper than any knife. Nancy Guthrie wasn't just a headline. She was a mother, a grandmother, and a pillar of her community. And she deserves more than a nope from a distracted sheriff. The DNA match is 100%. The secret lab has provided the name. The sheriff is backed into a corner with nowhere left to hide. The Mexico deception has been burned to the ground by the light of forensic science. Very soon, the world will see a face on the news. It won't be a stranger from the shadows. It will be a face we've seen before. The nope is about to become an arrest warrant. The search for Nancy Guthrie is ending, and the reckoning for her killer is just beginning. Stay tuned to this channel. As the final documents are unsealed and the arrest is made, we will be the first to bring you the face of the man who thought he could outrun a single strand of hair. Justice is coming, and it's coming fast.